Hello and welcome to Road to Money Match Friday. I'm your host Weasel. I'm joined by my two beautiful commentators. People, Just Frame Hot Pocket and Hamelak Games.
Yo, what's poppin'? Hit him with
Uh,
the back one.
it's a very
That's the
chill
move
day today, as you can tell by Noah's attitude. Just kidding.
all the time.
Kidding. All right. So this week we have some matches today. This tomorrow, whatever Thursday we have matches. Some really good matches coming up. We're gonna see the rematch of Hamelak here is gonna go up against Cold Cuts, the MN rhythm game fighting game streamer. They've had this beef for a good while now. I'd say about 2 years or so.
Yeah, about per se.
And then after them, moving to our main event, we're gonna have CT from the Lions Den. Very strong Horong player, from what I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong, but him versus our own amazing Street Fighter player that moved on to Tekken and just absolutely dominates everywhere he goes. Christian Kangaroo, the Iceman, we call him.
Guy
But
has literal blood in his veins, like literal ice. It doesn't flow. It just stops.
oh yeah,
in its tracks.
and it tracks.
Yeah, literally.
360 degrees. Good luck getting away from that Sonic thing, because he plays Steve. Alright,
Yeah.
so, to move on to the character discussion, or the player discussion, we'll pull up Cold Cuts here versus Hamelak. Ham, how does it feel to talk about yourself?
Like putting myself out there, like I'm just gonna put myself right on the ball. I'm gonna release my side note and my side character today, and hopefully it works out in the long run.
What? You're gonna release your side character today?
I mean, it's up in the board,
Oh,
being
damn.
exposed right now.
Oh, damn. Oh, look, it's Armor King. That sucks. I'm sorry. Good thing,
Yeah.
good thing you got buffed in season 4.20.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Hella buff. And then Cold Cuts has. I don't want to spoil any of the breakdown, but Cold Cuts has a surprise for us as well. Something that none of us know, except for Chad over there.
I do know, but
Yep.
I've been sworn to secrecy.
For a fucking
Yes.
while, too.
Yes, he has asked me to not release his side character.
Every time I talk to them, they'll talk about it, and I'll just be over here, like, just put it in the back of your brain, because then you're going to start asking questions, and it's going to bug you. So.
I have a feeling we're gonna see him. We're gonna see it.
Oh, it's a him. That's more information than I've been given over the last few months. All right.
Months?
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's been a bit. Okay. So moving on, Chad, do you have any sort of input on these beautiful charts that you created?
Absolutely. So, we got Cold Cuts versus Hamlack, a classic MNT matchup, one that I've personally been waiting on for a long, long, long time. We've tried to set this matchup a few times over the last year or so. Unfortunately, just hasn't been able to work out. In my opinion, some legitimate reasons. Or the reason hasn't worked out. I'm not going to go nearly close to saying that somebody was dodging the other person, but I think they're finally excited to get back into the ring and kind of really settle this next meeting. So if I were to kind of encapsulate how this matchup is, you have a bulk damage dealer, a complete wrecking ball, versus I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call Ham damage chipper. He's we're comparing it to the wrecking ball. Hamlack would be the jackhammer. Chips away the damage versus somebody who just loves to come in and dish and just eliminate your life bar with as little effort as possible, right? So let's start with Cold Cuts. What's his biggest strength as a player? It's exactly that. He loves to dish big damage. When he gets his down forward twos, he gets his shredder kicks. Just expect, being a Paul player, expect what you would from a typical Paul player. That your life bar is going to be severely damaged, and he thrives on that. Kind of the idea that Cold Cuts takes into it is he will sacrifice some fundamentals in order to eliminate your life bar. So that's why when you look at the radar chart, easily his biggest strength is audacity. He will do some things. He will pull some things out of his pocket that will just absolutely amaze you. But when it works out for him, it absolutely fucking sucks. But beyond that, he does have above average execution being a Paul player. He can do some of the more difficult Paul stuff. Maybe not some of the top tier, you know, not some of the top tier optimized Paul stuff that you see some pros pull out, but generally when it comes to Paul, anything that he does it pretty well. But let's talk about the weaknesses with cold cuts. So biggest weakness that I'll assign to cold cuts is his punishment game. And this is something he knows, it's something he has worked on time and time and time again, and it's something that he is working really hard to get better, but it's still not quite up to snuff. So when he does some of that unsafe stuff, or excuse me, when somebody does some of the unsafe stuff against cold cuts, he does have a tendency to miss out on his optimal punishment. That said, an average neutral game, for a lot of people, this would not necessarily be assigned as a weakness, but considering that he is a Paul player, I'm going to go ahead and assign it as a weakness because Paul has some of the best neutral in Tekken 7, and Cold Cuts just doesn't have the neutral game to fully take advantage of what Paul has to offer. And then finally, kind of the mirror image to his strength as dishing big damage, he can get pretty reliant on the Paul rage. You know, we always like to say the round doesn't start till Paul's in rage, and oftentimes that is very true with cold cuts. I've had a lot of matches with cold cuts where, you know, being the Huarong player, I just chip away at him. You know, a lot of Flamingo Vortex type stuff. He'll get into rage, all of a sudden, you know, he'll hit the rage art cancel, and then all of a sudden, hey, guess what? It's kind of an even game again. So while he's really good at that, and he's really good at you know, eliminating life bars, he can get a little bit reliant on it.
Yeah, he's.
So let's shift. Oh, go ahead.
I'd say he's very susceptible to the. It's called the kimchi rage art, where I don't know if you guys have ever heard that term in Korea, but it's when
you let it marinate a little bit.
Well, it's when you just kind of let your rage art rip and he gets blocked because you're just upset.
And I will say, when I've played cold cuts, you know, baiting the rage art has become a regular part of my game plan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when it works out, it's like, oh, thank God, I can take the round now. You know?
Yeah, right. Like you got one life left, and you're just
Yeah.
like, come on, do it now, please, so I can win. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's shift over to Hamlack here. So, you know, we kind of talked about, you know, if Cold Cuts is the wrecking ball, Hamlack's kind of the jackhammer. He does have this above average poking game, which is awesome and what you'd expect out of a Steve player, right? So he's playing the character the way the character is really kind of supposed to be played, really chipping away at your health bar, mostly safe. But yeah, just really good at poking, keeping the good poking range with Steve, and really just harassing players, getting them really frustrated, forcing them into mistakes. But here's something that I love about Hamlack as a player, and it also frustrates the hell out of me too. Hamlack has a hidden gear. He is capable of playing 2 or 3 levels above his average level of play. It just takes him a while to get there, but when he gets there, it's like, Hamlack, did you put the controller down and give it bad? No.
The little brother tech.
Yeah, you know, because all of a sudden he's pulling stuff out of nowhere. He's getting really, really good. He's just taking rounds and sometimes taking matches too. And you know, and it's something that you absolutely can't take away from the guy. But he has this hidden gear. But then finally, another thing I really like about Hamlack is he's a pretty clutch player. And if you look on his radar chart, that is what I assigned as his best trait. Hamlack rarely loses rounds that he should win. You know, it's hard to run back against Hamlack when he's got a good life bar and you're down to pixel level of health. He really is good at finishing off rounds and getting the wins when he needs them. But where's Hamlack weak as a player? First and foremost, Ham, you go MIA for stretches, dude.
You're not wrong, man. I like to take breaks.
Months will transpire where I see Hamlack is not signed on to Tekken 7.
He is
so I'm
playing
go ahead
Guitar
and
Hero, though, so his fingers are getting the workout. It's just...
He's keeping the dexterity.
Yep.
Right there.
But yeah, he does tend to go stop playing Tekken for a bit, which is understandable. This game is stressful.
Yeah, it can be very, very stressful. Absolutely. You know, and with kind of his poke heavy, with his poke heavy style as a player, has a tendency to fall into some flowcharts as a Steve player, which with Steve, you know, isn't a massive weakness because Steve's just such a safe fucking character. But it does lead to some pretty, it does lead to predictability, and it does for an adaptable player, it does lead to some good favorable meta for an opponent. But then finally, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the mirror image of Hamilak's hidden gear. In order for him to get there, he is a very, very, very slow starter. He will go multiple rounds to get his engine warm, but when he finally hits that top gear, he's playing at his absolute best. But when it comes to an FT10, it just begs the question, how long is it going to take Hamlak to reach that hidden gear if he gets there at all?
And then can he keep it there? That's
Absolutely.
That's another thing. First to 10's a long time.
Those some kind words, Chad. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Just spreading the good word, my brother.
Gives me more things to know what I need to work on and get better as a player.
His head's getting too big. No, fuck you.
Fuck you, is it?
No, just kidding. All right. And with that, we can move on to the second match for the night, which is CT versus Kangaroo, the Iceman.
Can I put myself in here really quick?
What's up?
I'm excited because when first time ever meeting Christian in bracket, it was so close. And this is like years ago, right? And I haven't seen him since. But every time we play, like, it is close down to a wire. It's the Steve Mirror. Like, what you gonna do? He got two boxers throwing the same moves left and right.
Was
he knows how to play. Huh?
Was that at Paradise Arcade?
Yeah.
Like the one where we went out to ramen afterwards?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Ooh, I missed that.
You guys, yeah, that was a while ago. You guys
It was a wild set.
You guys bumped heads that tournament.
He took it because he had a really clutch Sonic Fang, and I got into a knockdown situation, and I was like, oh god, he's gonna do a low, and then I got fucking Shoryuken, and I was like, that's my life bar.
Yep.
It was such a set though. It was crazy.
That's the hypest match of the night. Easily.
But now take it away, Chad. You know these players better than I do. Take it away, buddy.
All right, so let's start with CT. So CT come from the Lion's Den. Having matches with a lot of Lion's Den players, I'll tell you one thing I absolutely love about the Lion's Den. They produce some very well-rounded Tekken players.
The Lion's Den is a Lion's Den.
It absolutely
word
is.
For word.
You know, you spend time in the Lion's Den, you're going to learn the game. Absolutely. And I think the best aspect of that is that a lot of their competitive players who are coming out of the Lion's Den, some of their top tier players, and I've absolutely put CT in their top tier list of some of the best players that are coming out of that school. They're just really well-rounded players. They understand the game extremely well, and CT is so prototypical of what the Lion's Den produces. So you can see on the radio chart, I gave him straight A's all around the board. Just does everything at the very least well. He does not have a major fundamental weakness as a Tekken player, and I absolutely love that about him. Coming up as a Hwoarang player, as you can see, the characters that he attributes to being kind of his competition-ready players: Hwoarang, Kunimitsu, Lily. And with all three of those characters, he's got some very, very, very good poking skill. You'd expect that out of Hwoarang. You expect that out of Kunimitsu. Not so much with Lily, but still, great poking skills with Lily. And then the final thing that I'll give to CT is he just has really great instincts for the game, and that is especially huge as a Hwoarang player. When you're dealing with the 50-50s, when you're dealing with some situations that are high risk, high reward, his instincts for just pulling out the right tool for the right time makes him a really excellent Hwoarang player. I did have the opportunity to do an FT5 Hwoarang versus Hwoarang with him, and I'm not gonna lie, he didn't clean me 5-0, but it was a 1-5. Probably should have been 2-5 on my part, but hey, that's on me. So really excellent Hwoarang player. So where does CT come up a little bit short, in my opinion? He plays a lot of characters, and as a Hwoarang main, that's very, very rare. But what kind of comes with that is it's not a big gap, but it is a discernible gap. You can see the gap between his secondaries and his Hwoarang. His Hwoarang is very clearly his main. It's very clearly his best character. So we'll see how that factors into the matchup against Kangaroo. He is subject to a little bit of flowcharting. It's not a major weakness, but it is noticeable, especially with his Hwoarang. He does have his setups that it's very clear that he really, really, really likes. Luckily for him in our FT5, I'm a complete idiot, so even though I recognize them, I still press a button or I still fall into a frame trap. So, hey, that's on me. But in terms of somebody like Kangaroo, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to assign that as a weakness. And then finally, I'm just going to say, despite being an awesome player with a lot of high potential, it's still very clear he is a bit raw as a prospect, as a Tekken player. His ceiling is extremely high. We'll see how he works to actually get there. But one reason I really like this matchup is you just have somebody who is a little bit raw versus a very seasoned Tekken player who just doesn't play as much Tekken as he probably could. So let's talk about Kangaroo a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to quote Top Gun, one of my favorite movies of all time. Maverick, you want to know who the best is? That's him, Iceman. It's the way he flies, no mistakes. Just wears you down. You get bored, frustrated, do something stupid, and he's got you. That is Kangaroo. The dude is so poised at Tekken. He's probably one of the most poised players I've ever seen. But along with that, true scholar of the game. Really studies things. You play matches and you get on voice chat with the Kangaroo. He's asking questions constantly. What's the frame data on that? What are my options out of that? If I sidestep that, what do I have? And he just loves to break down matchups. He loves to break down his own character. He knows Steve back to front because he studied him so much. He just loves studying the game, loves learning the matchup, and I think he is absolutely going to come prepared to this FT10. And then finally, Christian is one of the clutchest players I have ever seen. Awesome mind for the game. He also has excellent instincts. When it comes down to the pixel versus pixel health, just his ability to recognize situations, commit to a read that works out extremely well for him is just absolutely huge. It's almost like he has a sixth sense for the game of Tekken. But where are we a little bit weak with Kangaroo? First of all, kind of comes with the territory as a Steve player. He can play too safe at times. I don't see a lot of audacity coming out of Christian. He kind of almost plays as if he's, kind of computerized. This move for this situation, this decision for this situation. Doesn't really break the rules of the game a lot. So sometimes he kind of misses out on some opportunities where he could commit some really big damage if he's just willing to take his own risk to his life bar a little bit. As we discussed before, Tekken is definitely his side chick. Kangaroo is a Street Fighter V player first and foremost. He does dabble in Tekken quite a bit, and he'll do Tekken for long streaks, but I think it really kind of shortens his potential at the game because he just doesn't play it for long periods of time. And then finally, the most glaring weakness here, he is a exclusive Steve player. No other pocket characters that are considered competition ready. He breathes and he loves Steve, and it's the only character that he's really prepared to bring, especially into a long set like an FT10 or in terms of a competition. So that is absolutely clearly an assigned weakness.
I agree with that. One of the things he's been trying to do is branch out to other characters, but he just doesn't find his guru as well as he does with Steve. So we'll see.
And I think that's I think that's kind of a trap you fall into some of these characters. And I think it says a lot about CT. Starting with a character like Warong, who, like Steve, just takes so much effort just to learn and be good at, but still managed to have two other characters that he considers to be competition ready.
That shows a real love for the game there. If you're able to take on a character like Warong, learn him front and back, and then move on to another character, it just really at that point you love Tekken, not just the character,
For sure.
Which is nice to have around. Helps your character knowledge immensely. And then now that he's playing Lily in season 4.2,
yeah,
I feel like we're probably gonna see Lily because she's just so busted.
Oh, she is now. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the new. It's Lilroy. That's her name.
Leroy.
Yeah. Oh, Lilroy. Just like the Beastie Boys song. I'm just kidding.
Love it.
All right. So, moving on to some predictions. What do you guys think? Who's gonna win?
Start with Noah.
Noah.
Oh dear me.
Yeah.
Well, I talked about my match yesterday in the video, but I'll give my same prediction. It's gonna be 10-8, but I'm not gonna say who. As when it comes for CT and Kangaroo, Chad, you did a great job explanation. Like, CT is gonna be a wild man out there, dude. He's gonna be like freaking Tarzan swinging through the forest, and out of nowhere you're gonna get like drop kicked. You're like, holy moly, what hit me? It's gonna go 10-5 going to CT.
Whoa.
10-5 CT.
10-5 CT. That's crazy.
I'm feeling ballsy this week.
Yeah. If that happens, oh man, I don't even know.
Yeah,
You want to pay for my hot pot if I get that?
that'd
Yeah.
be sick.
Yeah, I'll pay for your hot pot if you land
Let's
10-5.
All right, so my predictions here, they're up. Clearly, they can be seen. We'll start with Cold Cuts versus Hamlack. First thing I'm going to say is, since this match has been brewing so long, so deep, and there's so much lore behind it, there's going to be a key charge in the first round. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call it. If there's not a key charge in the first round, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put $5 more into that pottery do.
Oh,
but I
man.
guarantee it's going to happen.
It doesn't even feel right if they don't key charge.
I know, right? Yeah, I think Cold Cuts comes out really strong. I think he really leans on some of that Paul damage, especially with Hamlack's kind of slow engine to start. I think he dominates that early game. But I think once you get to the mid-late game, I think Hamlack finds his groove, and I think he goes on a streak. In part, I say that because I was there to witness that FT5 that turned into an FT10, and Hamlack, that's really kind of where he came in to shine. Once he got that motor going, dude couldn't quit. We're going to see Cold's new ult make its debut. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say it. Definitely coming out. But I think at the end of the day, Hamlack finds that top gear, he sticks with it, and I think we see a 10-8 Hamlack win. Moving over.
Go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I was going to move over to CT.
I have a guess on who that new character is.
Ooh, let's hear it.
I have a guess.
For the record.
For the record, I'm probably totally wrong. It's either going to be Noctis, because I remember him playing Noctis, or I'm going to throw completely out of left field. It's one of the Bears.
Okay. So there's the official guess on the record.
Oh, man.
And we will see if either of those guesses are correct.
I don't even want to say anything, so it's funnier later.
All right, so moving over to CTA the Kangaroo. I think we see CT play at least 3 characters. I think we see his diversity in characters. I don't think his Horon comes out early. I think he tests the waters with some of his other characters. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say I bet he starts this set with Kunimitsu just to see what kind of bullshit he can get away with. I do think Kangaroo does take the early lead here, though. I think, just in terms of one-on-one player strength, I think Kangaroo is just overall the stronger player, and I think he's just I think that's going to lead to some really good returns for him in the early game. But I do think that character diversity and those character switch-ups are going to work to CT's favor in the mid-game. And I think he does have a good, strong mid-game run, and we see it start to even up around somewhere around 4-4, 5-5, somewhere around there. I do think CT eventually is going to have to bring out his Hwoarang because Kangaroo is just so good at adapting to characters. He's so good at learning matchups, especially in real time for something like an FT10. So I think Kangaroo does eventually endure, but I do think we see a 10-9. I think it's going to be very close.
Okay. I can agree with
Weasel, what do you think?
What do I think? Well, I think Chad makes some very good points over there. As far as Cold Cuts and Hamlack, I think that what we talk about with Hamlack's 5th gear, so to speak, I understand a lot of stuff like that. I feel like I myself have that same thing, and if he goes on, he goes on. But he's got to keep it on if he wants to keep it going. And then if he switches characters in between, it's going to be a little bit shaky. But if that's what ends up having to happen, then so be it. Cold Cuts, I feel like he's going to... It's weird because I feel like he's either going to start off and he's not going to change his game very well, or he's going to start off completely different and he's going to revert back into his old game halfway through the set, which I feel like would help more. As far as his secret character goes, I think it's Eliza, straight up. And I feel like that would throw Hamlack through the ropes, considering he got his brain melted by an Eliza in Colorado. No, I'm just kidding.
I literally got my brain cremated by a Zafina.
Oh, Zafina. That's right, Zafina. Damn it. That's what I meant to say. Zafina. No.
Dude, I literally got torn down limb from limb, and then I got wrapped up like a spider, and I got gobbled down till I was literally just a husk of death.
Oh yeah, Cold Cuts' secret character is Athena. He's been playing with Chris Curtis from the Colorado FGC all day long.
Fuck that guy. He still needs to pay me.
All right, so we have 4 guesses on record. We have Noctis, we have Bears, we have Eliza, and we have Zafina. Is
No,
that
no,
correct?
no, no, Eliza. I meant to say Zafina.
Eliza? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have Noctis, Bears, and Zafina.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 3 guesses made on record.
If I had to give a real guess, it'd be Horong.
So Horong is the fourth guess then?
Yep.
4th guess on record?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
All right. Well,
All right.
unfortunately for both of y'all, I'm a man of my word,
I know.
and I will give no
That's
indications.
No,
That's fair.
it makes it better this way, honestly.
Yes. I think it's
Um,
gonna be a pretty cool moment when that character gets debuted.
Ooh, I'm gonna call it 10-7. It's gonna be a 10-7. But as far as who wins, oh man, maybe I think Cold Cuts, because I don't know if his new character is gonna be unfamiliar to him. So I'm just gonna call it 10-7 Cold Cuts. Just because
Respectable.
Because
Respectable.
your secret character has been on the stage for a bit. Like, we know you play Armor King. Like,
Yeah,
we'll
but
talk.
he does it.
We'll
He
talk.
doesn't know it.
We'll talk. We'll be like, oh, you play a second character and you whip out Armor King, and then our brains go, oh yeah, he plays Armor King. So,
Yeah, like,
but yeah, so it's I think the character unfamiliarity might hit you a bit, or maybe not. Maybe it's a character you actually know inside out. It'd be really funny if you pulled out Steve.
that'd be
And
hysterical.
Steve mirrored you.
All right, Ham. I'll ask you this question actually.
All right.
What 3 characters would most terrify you?
3 characters that most terrify me in Tekken
Yep.
7.
So we're in the FT10. Get ready for the next battle comes across the screen. Character panels come in. Which characters appearing on that panel would just absolutely terrify you?
Wow.
Is it fair to say?
That's-
Is it fair to say Zafina is one of them?
I'm good. No, not anymore.
Okay, all
I
right.
spent a lot of time in the lab
You
against
labbed
that.
her.
Yeah, I labbed the piss out of her, just like I labbed the piss out of Noctis when Dan killed me 32 times in a row with that character. I was so mad. And I would say my top 3 characters that just absolutely wallop me from start to finish. Geese is number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Yoshi.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that one.
And I say 3 because you don't really see it a lot. Damn, I gotta think about it. You know what? I'll say this, and I know it seems kind of crazy, but Ganryu.
Ganryu?
Ganryu messes me up, and I do have an honorable mention, and that's Jack 7.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So, yeah, all those characters are all the 3 characters besides Jack are very and even Jack himself can be a bit gimmicky, so they have some knowledge checks they can hit you with. Ganryu, I feel like, is a secret threat that nobody knows about.
That character's good. I will hold it down, dude. That character is crazy.
Oh,
Yeah, I think Ganryu gets hella overlooked.
You gotta understand how to punish him in certain
Yeah.
areas that you'll just miss out on damage, and he'll just get free shit on you.
Like, next
So-
thing you know, he's like on the ground being a squid or whatever.
Yep. He's just,
Rolling on you. He turns you into a sushi roll. Straight up.
oh yeah,
The aptly named Salt Upper.
oh yeah. He rolls fatties all over you.
Whoa.
Oh,
Whoa. Character's fucking cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
But yeah,
so
to
we know
move
what
on.
we know what Noah's terrified of. Now let's move on to Weasel's CT versus Kangaroo.
Yeah, CT versus Kangaroo. I feel like I haven't played Christian in a few months, but I think that CT is gonna whip out the Lily pretty early on and take her for a test run. As far as a match that I don't know if CT's played in any tournaments or any matches that mattered, but I feel like he's been hungry to try out the new Lily in season 4.2. And I feel like he's just gonna whip her out early, and she's gonna be so strong. And then paired with CT's fundamental game, I feel like Christian's gonna really struggle, and it might just be a 10-7 Lily versus Steve the whole time.
All right.
Yeah. If we saw other characters like Hwarang or Kunimitsu, that'd be really cool. I'd love to see his Kunimitsu, even as Hwarang. But I feel like Lily is just so strong in the new season that he's gonna really want to test the waters with her and take her for a spin all over Kangaroo's face. So
I can't wait to see it.
So that's my prediction on that one.
All right.
Let's see. Any closing thoughts at all? We wrap this up.
Oh, I'm just really excited to see this one. Last Money Match Friday, we had a.
It was a blowout.
Unfortunately, it was a blowout on both sides. I think we're going to see much closer matches this week, and I'm really excited to see it.
It's going to be a good one.
I think the CT and Kangaroo matchup is going to be really cool.
Watch CT 10-0 Kangaroo. That'd be sad.
Oh God, that would be. I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know what to do.
I'd just be sitting there like, again? Come on, guys.
Be like watching my dad get beat up or something.
Oh yeah.
Well, remember, not even now. Our boy Tato, out in Jersey, as he likes to call it, right?
Jersey.
He's out there. Let's see. I'm hoping he was able to find him some Makoto action, get the dust off his Tekken game.
Yeah.
And get some matches in with him.
Oh yeah. See if
because we all know what happened to our boy.
After that had happened, Anthony did go in the lab, and he did lab Lisa, and he does not get 10-0'd by Makoto anymore. Almost like, I'd say a week later, he was doing a lot better. So I feel like that happening really opened his eyes, and it's something that did need to happen.
Absolutely.
Nice.
So as bad as it was just a growing pain. I feel like we're going to come back stronger.
I think that's a classic Anthony move, though, too. I mean, Anthony finds a weakness in his game that big, he's going to become obsessed with it until it's fulfilled.
That's anybody who wants to get better or anything.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as you expose that to them, they're just in there correcting.
Oh yeah.
So Anthony is super focused on shit like that. It's super good to see.
And I guess one last thing we should do, what I'd suggest to you, Weasel, is we call it Money Match Friday, but we're on Thursday, so maybe we should remind one more time when we're going.
Oh yeah, so this one's gonna be Thursday the 24th. I tried to make it clear in the Facebook post, but I guess people missed it. No big deal. I did call it Money Match Friday in the title, so I understand. We'll probably be looking towards changing the name or some other sort of thing to make it more smooth. We'll just see what happens in the future. Still talking about it.
We're figuring it out one day at a time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not going away. It's just
a show.
It's under construction, like Minnesota highways in summer.
Oh, got him. It's summertime.
Yep. Doesn't mean you can't drive on it. It just means it looks a little weird.
For like 3 months.
Yeah. It's definitely a Minnesota summer right now. All right, and with that, I think we should wrap this up. Closing thoughts, I'd say if you guys are looking for local offlines, GameWorks Mall America, Tuesdays, 3 to 11. They're open. Go check them out. Wednesdays, I'd say Paradise Arcade's back open over there in Minneapolis. Just Google it, and you'll find it immediately.
July. In July.
Yep, it's coming back July 14th, I think. So
Correct.
Look for that. And then Tuesday through Sunday, you can hit up Black Ice Entertainment. They're a club out in Minneapolis. You can just Google Maps them too, but they do the day pass, so it's $15 for a day, or you can sign up for a membership there and just come in whenever you want. But you play all day on that day pass. You just come chill, hang out,
Hella sick.
see what's going on.
Access to all machines too. So like if you're getting your ass beaten, you're like, dang, I want to go play some Forza on an Xbox.
Yep.
And then bam, Forza's right there.
It's not just fighting games. You can take a chill with some other games in between sets. And they don't even just have Tekken. They have Dragon Ball FighterZ, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, you name it, they got it.
Guilty Gear Strive.
Oh yeah, Guilty Gear Strive is there. I'd say the $15 cover charge for that place is definitely worth it as far as what's available.
100%.
GameWorks is free, but all you're going to be doing there is playing fighting games or, God forbid, League of Legends.
God.
So,
Don't make me sign in.
Yeah. I'm not saying you shouldn't go there. It's definitely a really good place to be, and they have a bar and everything, and you can have some fun.
Food's decent too.
But just don't write off.
Not sponsored, just
Yeah.
letting you guys
Oh yeah,
know
none of this is sponsored. It's just giving people ideas for offlines, so they don't get stuck in the house too long.
I've been cooped up too long, man.
Yeah.
I want to get out of there.
Start getting people going back to normal. All right, and with that, I'll sign off. If you guys want to say your things, say goodbye.
It's been real. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Tomorrow is going to be sick. Be prepared to see a lot of back ones because both me and Kangaroo are going to serve them up on a silver platter. It's going to be hysterical. Good night, Harada, and good night to everybody here. I hope everybody has a safe night. Be safe.
Thank you for that, and have a good night, everybody.